I'm Chelsey White, and I am the baking blogger and content creator behind Chelseys. I'm located in New York City, and I do all of my baking, surprisingly, from my apartment. I always have a hard time succinctly telling my story, but I really started out in public accounting, which is not where most people expect the story to start. But I was working really long hours and I needed a creative outlet, and I started baking after work just as a way to kind of like unwind and relax. And I really just fell head over heels for baking. I was in love with it. I was baking at every opportunity that I got. I was making friends' birthday cakes, coworkers' birthday cakes, and it really evolved from there into selling cakes, then making videos of cakes, then creating cake content like more seriously, and then eventually quitting my job in kind of like public accounting and corporate finance to pursue Chelsey's and my baking blog full time. So I juggled my corporate career and Chelsey's for I think about 4 years, and it was really challenging doing both because it really did feel almost like two jobs. And I did get to a breaking point where I was just not really sleeping. I was doing a lot of content for the Food Network at the time, and I had some partnerships going on, and my work was demanding. It was month-end close, and we had, responsibilities and things we had to finish. And I just was so exhausted. I was like, I can't keep doing this anymore. And it kind of was like a light went off in my head, because part of me felt like you can keep doing both. Like, there's no reason you can't do both. You're more powerful or you're better if you're doing both. But kind of got to a point where I was like, that's not true. That's like rhetoric in my head. Like, it's a trick, and there's nothing wrong with me pursuing what I really love doing. But for the most part, I felt really good about quitting, and it actually bothered me when I would tell people or talk about it. And I'm always like, I'm a pessimistically optimistic, so I'm always like trying to set the bar low so that way when things turn out better, I'm happy. But I would always talk to people about it, and like the fallback people would always say would be like, well, if it doesn't work out, you can always go back to like your corporate job. And I just want to be like, no, it's gonna work fine. I'm gonna do well. And like that always kind of put me off, which nobody ever like meant ill will towards me by saying that, but it always bothered me because I just want to be like, nope, I feel pretty good about this. I'm gonna be fine. And I also had set a bunch of kind of financial and very specific goals I wanted for my business before I quit that I honestly never thought I would achieve. And at that point, I kind of took a step back and looked at my situation, and I had accomplished all of those goals. And whether it's, a certain size of nest egg you want to have saved so that you feel secure, whether it's a certain amount of monthly income or different revenue streams so that you feel confident making that switch and that you can like handle your expenses, or even things like healthcare, all of those are factors to consider. And when I took that step back, I realized like I was 100%, I had met all those goals somehow, and it was absolutely time. I was making double my corporate salary at the time. So like, I'm very cautious financially, like the CPA in me and that's just like how I grew up. And I really think like, I'm not obsessed with money, but money means security to me, and it matters. So I had a really conservative approach. So, I felt really confident in myself and what I could do. And just like the way I had set up my business, I really felt like, even if certain things didn't work out, I could focus on different areas or different channels, and things would be okay. And they have. And so, knock on wood, there's always that, well, like, who knows how next year's going to go. But for the most part, I felt really good about quitting. You feel like once you decide to do something full-time, you really need to succeed. If you're doing it as a side hustle, you can try hard, and like no matter what happens, it's your side hustle, it's not a big deal. But when you make the leap, I think you put so much more pressure on yourself, and that like is also, I think, what makes it scarier, because it's not like it just makes it harder.